can feel it down in my plums. When I hear a sound, a rap at the door, my young son Gabriel walks in.
Welcome back to Let the Boys Watch, an entertainment podcast brought to you by Going Great Productions. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Robbie, and on this week's episode, we finish our Harry Potter-thon by watching the 2011 fantasy Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Harry Potter is written by Steve Kloves and based off the novels by the same name by J.K. Rowling. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 was directed by David Yates. Harry Potter stars Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, Emma Watson, Michael Gambon, Maggie Smith, Tom Felton, Robbie Coltrane, Helena Bonham Carter, Ray Fiennes, and Alan Rickman. Alongside me is the Cuz Ben. How we feeling?
Feeling good. Sad that we've reached the end, but excited for what's ahead.
I'm sad. Me too. And alongside the Cuz and myself, good friend, co-host Ryan. Ryan, how we doing?
Good. I'm excited for next week when we watch Fantastic Beasts.
Both. We're doing another twofer.
Yeah. Oh, three-fer. There's three of them.
There's three of them? Oh, Lord.
I mean, if we ever watch them, I don't know if I'd force anyone to watch the third one. But anyway, this is Let the Boys Watch. We watch movies. Typically, one or all of us haven't seen them. In this case, we watched all 8 Harry Potter films for the past 7 weeks because we combined one and two. And a good friend and co-host, Robbie, hasn't seen any of them. So it's been quite a ride, just kind of peppering him with questions, seeing what he thought as a first-time watcher. So if you missed any of those, please go back and check those out, see how things have progressed. Normally we do some kind of theme and we'll put it up to a vote on Instagram or just pick something that we feel like talking about. So speaking of Instagram, go over there, check us out. The link's right here if you're watching on YouTube. I will never remember it. What is it again?
The link for
yeah, what's
Instagram?
Our handle on Instagram?
It's Let the Boys Watch Pod.
Thank you. And you can also email us. I remember this one, ltbwpodcast@gmail.com. Or just, Ben, tell them what else they could do.
Yeah, follow us on YouTube. You could see that we've lied to you for the last 7 weeks. At the beginning of every episode, it says that we have polls on Instagram every Friday. Well, those will be coming back soon. We may give Robbie his own dealer's choice this week and maybe in the next couple of weeks. We'll see. But we will have polls coming for you shortly so you can tell us what we watch. But follow us on YouTube so you don't miss an episode. Click subscribe so we pop up on your home screen every time we release a new episode. That's Let the Boys Watch on YouTube. Might take you a second to find us because we're hidden under a bunch of Will Ferrell clips. But once you find us, subscribe and you'll never miss an episode again.
Yeah. And put a comment down there.
Yeah, just give Robbie some encouragement for what he just went through for the podcast, for you people.
18 hours, 20 minutes. That's all of them combined.
You think the people give a fuck about me? Please.
I think so.
Yeah. Well, my mom does. That's all that counts.
That's true.
That's all that matters.
Come on. We all know that you're the Harry of this trio.
That's true. That is true.
Does that mean Benny's Rana and I'm Hermione? I'll take it.
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah. So I mean, Robbie, I'm very curious and excited about what you thought about this film and then kind of all over. But I guess I don't know. Do we want to kind of give a little bit from each of us, or just kind of let Robbie go ahead, or what do you want to do with this?
Why don't we try as few sentences as the two of us can and just kind of let Robbie go from there. You can start, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's hard to land a plane, and this is a motherfucker. This is 8 films. As we've seen with a number of series and other movie series, sometimes it's hard to end. I think this film does a very good job. There's some things that are just like every film based on a book, but these in particular, there's some things that I think I wish they did differently or more like the book, but overall, I love this. It might be my favorite one, I think. Um, but yeah, I I'm happy it's over, but I'm glad we did this.
Yeah, I think I got a new lease on these movies, watching them with Robbie because it it forced the point home to me that they did a really good job of making movies for people that watch the books and for people that, excuse me, that read the books and people that didn't read the books, because there were things that maybe we didn't like that Robbie didn't seem to necessarily miss. um but yeah, I mean, like I said, they landed the plane. They did a great job. I mean, from Jump Street, this movie's go go go. I started this with the intention of breaking it up and had to stop it a little bit earlier than I wanted to, because I was like, oh, we are going like after this moment. So yeah, this is 2 hours of pure everything you need answered is coming for you. So fantastic movie. I think, Ryan, I'm with you. This might be the best one. So I'm ready to hear what Robbie has to say.
Yeah.
No, like you said, Benny, yeah, it was I really liked this movie. It was action packed from the get-go. Really, it really flew by. I mean, of course it's gonna fly by when the rest of them are about 3.5 hours long each movie. But this one flew by. There's some things I didn't really like. I don't know if we get into them, like when those ghosts just picked up and left after like one thing that went wrong and they just left Voldemort by himself. That was kind of weird and stupid. But everything else was good. Like you said, Ryan, yeah, I mean, they did land the plane. Obviously, I don't know anything about the books. I'm sure there's more. I could have used a little more fight sequence between Harry Potter and Voldemort. I felt like that was like, all right, that's it. All this led to like him just, you know, dying in like 10 seconds. Yeah, it was like I wanted to see more. I wanted to see people getting sliced and diced, but it was good. It was definitely enjoyable. I'm glad I watched it. I really enjoyed the entire series. I like this one. It's tough. It's definitely in my top three. Um, I don't know where to score it between this and the Half-Blood Prince, but I feel like this had more significance than the Half-Blood Prince. But I don't know. It's tough. I enjoyed everybody's performance in this movie. I mean, got a couple of tear jerkers with my big dog Snaps, and but that's just the way it goes in the wizard world, you know? But a lot of surprises that I didn't think was coming, especially the Harry stuff. They got me good with that one. Um, so and I really enjoyed the the way it happened, like how Harry was able to come back to life. I thought that was super cool. I really, I mean, I don't have any negatives to say about the entire series. I really don't. I think it's very well done. I don't see how 7 or 8 year old kids watch these movies, especially the last couple that we watched. There are some scary moments for them, but again, now I understand why everybody loved these movies and loved the books. It was very well done, and they did a great job of kind of filling all the gaps and all the holes at the end. That it didn't really leave you with any question marks. Personally, for me, like I said, I didn't read the books, so
Yeah. No, it'll be
Excited.
good. Go ahead.
No, I'm excited to get into some of those things that you talked about.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was just thinking while you're talking, like, you hadn't watched them. Now, like, it's something you can talk about with like your nieces and things like that. Like, so you can enjoy the references that are made probably constantly. Maybe not as much as, a couple years ago, but when the show comes out, I'm sure it'll ramp up again. So yeah, it's nice to
yeah,
be like in the in crowd. And I'm saying that, all the Harry Potter fans are doing stand-up 69s, but
absolutely
they're
not, absolutely not.
absolutely not. But it's like it's nice when you know what people are talking about, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, now I can ruin it. Now I can spoil it for Beatrice. So
Yeah. You could be
get
like,
it
you
back.
listen to me, or I'm gonna tell you what happens to Dumbledore.
Yeah,
What happens to Snaps?
Snaps.
exactly. So that's what she's gonna get now. She mouths off to me during a game of Family Feud or something like that. She's getting spoiled.
Um, So I mean, I guess let's do some scores. I don't know if we want to do any kind of like rankings. Maybe we'll kind of quickly talk about that. And then we'll get I'm sure I have some questions. Benny, I'm sure you have some questions. But does anyone want to go first? We've been saving Robbie for last. Benny, do you want to start or?
Yeah, I was gonna go 10 on this one just because I thought it's such a great way to end the franchise. They landed the plane, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna go 9.7 just because I don't necessarily think it's a 10 movie, so I can't put it there. So I'll go 9.7 and just say really enjoyed it. And it takes over my spot as the number one movie for me.
Yeah. No, I was thinking very similar. I was like, is this a 10? Because I do really enjoy it a lot. I've watched it a number of times. Often, if I'm like, prior to this, if I'm just like, I just want a little nibble. I don't need the whole sandwich.
Yeah.
I'd watch probably either this one or maybe like one or whatever, like just to get like a little, like if I'm not feeling good, I'm laying in bed or something. Um, but it's not a 10. Uh, you know, I've been kind of scoring these against themselves
Yeah.
instead of like against other films. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about anyway. So I'm gonna go 9 point. I'll just 9.8. I'll go one above you.
Son of a
$1, Bob.
bitch.
Um, yeah, I don't know what to score this. Um, I really liked it a lot. Um, I also liked the part one a lot. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed part one. I thought that was very well done. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of potential action going on, but I just enjoyed that movie a lot. I was
Is there, sorry to cut you off, but is there,
no, please, please, please.
no, well, I
No,
was
I
going to
know,
ask
I
this,
know.
this later, but I feel like it ties into what you're talking about now. Like, do you kind of appreciate the first part more now, like knowing everything that it's set up in this one?
Yeah, I thought like when I was watching two, I was like, do I think part one was better? Like I was thinking that as I was watching, I really appreciated part one. I really, really enjoyed the first part of this movie a lot, and it was cool to see how they set everything up. And it definitely like sometimes stuff isn't good, breaking it into two seasons, like two parts, right? Breaking Bad was fantastic, obviously, and things like that. And sometimes they do this in movies, but this was well worth it. And this had to be broken up in two parts, and I'm glad they did because it was a good movie, a good way to end it too, and two good parts, really good.
Yeah. Would have been like a 5-hour movie if they kept it, or they would have had to cut tons of stuff.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad it
It's cool.
didn't. It's good. What were you gonna
You,
say?
you land on a score or
Mm, yeah, I'll go 9.4. I'll go 9.4 for this movie in honor of when I graduated fifth grade.
I believe that takes your spot as the number one.
It does. It does. I should have gave I should have gave part one higher than Half-Blood Prince. That's on me. Again, look, here it is. That's on me.
Hey, when we do the second watch next year.
Yeah. Every year we got to do the watch again.
So so before we get into the questions, I have a kind of question about the overall series. Is this something that you think you would watch again? Like obviously not now, but like maybe in a couple years. Like, you know what, maybe I'll just start it up and just kind of see where it goes. Like does it have that kind of value for you? Or you're like, no, I'm good. I saw it and that's kind of just it for me.
No, I think I'd watch it again. I think maybe I'd skip two. Maybe I'd do a little Cliff Notes, movies in minutes
Yeah.
on YouTube and give me 5 minutes and but yeah, I would definitely watch it again. There's some good stuff. One and two I could probably skip, like you guys said in the beginning, but it was necessary for me to watch one and two now. But yeah, I would revisit it again, maybe like in 5 years.
I want you, if you can, just go back and just pop on one or two and just like jump in 20 minutes, like just watch it for a few minutes and then just think back on like where this ended up. Because it's there's no way you could have foresaw like the way this whole thing ended up based on like those movies.
No, not at all. That's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, man, these are like kid-friendly movies. I was like, it's crazy. It definitely, I feel like each movie after one and two took on a slightly darker tone, which I enjoyed. And then it just got pretty dark. I think maybe with part one, which I really liked. I just liked the way that movie flowed and how it set up everything and the acting in it. It was very good. And yeah, I'll revisit it when the trauma wears off in 5 years.
One of the things too that everybody always points out is if you noticed the Warner Brothers logo in the beginning of the movie gets darker every movie. Like it becomes
I didn't notice that.
cloudier and darker, and so it definitely it carries on that tone, and they allude to that in how the movie starts.
You see Game of Thrones, finish the books first and then do the show.
All right, we got a lot to talk about. Ryan, do
Well,
you have a question to start us off with?
I do have several questions, but your questions are better. So why don't you start? Um, I'm curious what you're going to start with.
Yeah, I feel like there's so much to talk about, like end game wise, but I feel like the thing that we teed up so many times and we checked in on so many times during this whole fiasco, this whole saga, was our threat level with snaps. So, what are your kind of final thoughts on snaps? Do you get it now? Like, what did you like that twist? Kind of what were your final thoughts here? And I mean, there is really no threat level to have since he's gone, but I don't know, maybe just one more threat level thrown at us for the road.
Or we can go green. Everybody can come out of the house. Everybody can go, maybe spend the summer night with the doors unlocked. We don't have to worry about anything happening. We could dance in the streets. You know, mission accomplished, ladies and gentlemen. We got them. Things like that. So we're good. We're green. We're green. We're back in the streets. We're having barbecues in the streets. Well, salsa, and we're doing all the things we used to do before Snaps came onto the scene. But and then I guess now I think I asked a couple episodes back. I said, why does everybody you know like Snaps as their favorite character?
Right.
And little did I know what the twist was going to be at the end, which I did enjoy. I really did enjoy that. It's good to know like Dumbledore is dying and he wanted Snaps to kill him and things like that. And then getting the tears and seeing that stuff from him. It was tough. And I mean, when you got a fucking phenomenal actor like Alan Rickman, of course you're gonna get a little emotional because he played it great. There was more emotion from him in this one than anyone I've seen, so I was happy about that. It just was tough to see him go, but that was a really good twist. I enjoyed that one. I was just a little confused as is he Harry's dad? I just some of this like one specific quote he said I just didn't understand when he was talking to Dumbledore, so it made me think like he was Harry's dad.
Do you know what that quote was? Do you remember?
I forgot. I got to go back and look. I think
I'm just
I
curious.
forgot what
I
it
mean,
was.
there's no allusion to that. I mean, I'm just curious to kind of what the quote is, just because I want to hear it. But no, I
Yeah.
mean that there's as far as the books and everything we know goes, that's not. Lily was definitely not interested in him in that way. He kind of like was like he got friend zoned slash brother zoned for
Okay,
once they got to Hogwarts.
Yeah. Was it
trying to
maybe
find it.
what made you think that is when Dumbledore asked him about Lily, and instead of answering him, he just whipped up a Patronus? And
And they were the same.
yeah, but did Dumbledore know that Lily's Patronus was Adele? Or was he just like, oh, that's nice? Like, I don't get it, but okay.
No, he did because he did.
I
He
know,
said
I
it's
know.
the. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, my
Yeah,
bad.
no,
Sorry, sorry, sorry.
no, it's fine. Um, it's funny. I Benny, question for you. Same. idea, but where are you at with Snape? Like, are you still a big fan? Do you kind of like have some not doubts, but like because there's a lot of talk, and I think it's people overanalyzing and whatever that like, yeah, Snape was, when you first watch it, first go through this, you're like, wow, Snape's the best. Like he did all this because of how much he loved Lily. But then people started thinking about it, and they're like, kind of creepy behavior if you think about it. He was like obsessed with Lily. But where are you at with this?
Yeah, I mean, is he obsessed in a way? Yeah, but I mean, he's if you go by like the book version of him, like he's like an oily, disgusting
Yeah.
person. So like it's not like he's had the opportunity to get over her because it's not like he was seeing other girls or anything like that. So is he creepy? I don't know, I guess a little bit, but I mean that's just kind of he had puppy love and he never got a chance to get over it. The only thing that I'm like, it sucks, but it's the ultimate sacrifice of like not he tells Dumbledore to just never let anybody know that he is actually a double agent. Like so when he does flip back to Voldemort in the events of the last few books, like McGonagall, everybody in the order thinks that he's a coward and a scumbag. So
Yeah.
obviously it all comes out after he goes, but it just sucks to think of somebody that is being so brave to be thought of so poorly while they're alive and not have that found out until after they die for the cause.
Yeah. I don't know. I still like him, but I see what the internet says about it. Whatever. I mean, people are gonna
Again,
pick
it's
things
it's
apart.
it's another one of those things where you're viewing it through the lens of like real like society and like
Yeah.
the real world and not like
Yeah.
books of
There's no incels in fucking the Wizarding world. Like,
yeah, it's puppy love in
yeah.
books. Like that's just, like you can't, I don't know, microanalyze it, I guess.
Yeah. I do like to think of Snape like, when he was nights alone in his chambers, like listening to The Cure and like crying and,
The
writing
Smiths.
poetry and shit. Yeah, Smith something. Um, Robbie, thoughts on his like specifically his death? Pretty powerful, I feel like.
Yeah, it was like I said, it was emotional. I really thought it was well done. I really enjoyed capturing the tears to see the story, and that little fountain of youth. So that was nice to see. I really enjoyed that. But again, it was a sad death, but it was a really great emotional death and a great way to die. Not die, but I just enjoyed that little scene between him and Harry. I thought it was very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, very emotional. I'm curious why instead of giving him the killing curse, he was like, I'm gonna almost kill him so that, and then I'm gonna leave so then someone can talk to him for 5 seconds. Like, why have the snake do it? I don't know. Maybe I don't remember if it was explained in the books or not.
I think it's just that, like a power trip
It's
ego
dramatic.
type,
Yeah.
like, yeah, dramatic. And this is how much you mean to me. Like, I'm not even gonna let it happen quick. Like,
Yeah.
I'm still gonna make you suffer through it,
Yeah.
even though, like, you've been, as far as he knows, completely loyal to him.
Yeah. True. Um, I do want to bring up very quickly because it's the same scene or the scene right before it in the boathouse, and Lucius is in there talking. He's like, "Go get me Snape," and but the best is he goes, "Lucius, how do you live with yourself?" And Lucius goes, "I don't know." Amazing.
That poor guy got broken down.
I don't know.
So, Robbie, before we kind of move on to more like endgame stuff, did you understand the kind of transference of who owns, quote unquote, or who is the owner of the Elder Wand based on like Voldemort wanted to kill Snape because he believed that Snape was the one that killed Dumbledore. And he would think that the Elder Wand then transfers to him, but it doesn't. Harry explains why. Did that make sense to you, or is that just kind of a lot of stuff flying around towards the end of the movie?
I guess it was a lot of stuff flying around. I just didn't understand how Darko Milicic got like was the one that was like the guy who held the Elder Wand. I don't remember ever seeing him doing anything to Voldemort or disarming him or something, whatever they said. So that just kind of confused me.
So when before Dumbledore died, Draco goes up to him first, where Harry's underneath, and he disarms Voldemort, Dumbledore, and his wand like flies off. So now, in the whole ownership of the Elder Wand, Draco owns it, even though it's not. He doesn't have it. The wand knows, like, and that's what they were kind of talking about with Ollivander early on in the movie. Like the wands kind of have a mind of their own, and they choose the wizard. So at that point, it's Draco's. And even though Snape goes and kills Dumbledore after that, the wand is already Draco's at that point. So then later on in the first movie, when Harry disarms Draco, that's when it becomes Harry's. So anything that happens with Dumbledore, Snape after that at that point doesn't matter. It's Harry's at that point.
So a man died for nothing.
It seems like it.
Shame.
More meaningless death, Snape's or the guy that Voldemort just kills because he's pissed off that the Horcruxes are getting found. When he just turns around and just murks that guy for no reason.
My lord.
Yeah, I go with that guy. That was tough. That guy didn't do anything wrong.
Poor
I,
guy.
I should have kept a count of how many times someone said, "My lord," to Voldemort, because it's high. It's a high number.
That's funny.
Um, all right, so yeah, I think I kind of agree with you as much as, this is about Harry and Voldemort. Snaps is a big part, and I think it's maybe the most memorable part of this story. Like you said, Robbie, like you were curious why um people, love him as a character so much, and I think, this is why. Um, is there anything else about Snaps to talk about, or any other questions you have on him?
No, I think I'm all wrapped up with snaps. We got his threat level down to green. We're all good.
Back in the
I don't,
streets.
yeah, I don't foresee any issues with him going forward. That was a good way to end it for him, even though he got cucked.
He did.
I think I think one thing this watch through made me realize is kind of like how much he's not in it.
That's
Because
what I was
like
gonna say. I
he
was just
he
about to say
really
that.
when I watched these movies previously, like I have, like I said, all that background stuff just built into my brain. So I guess my mind's kind of just filling in the blanks. Um, but yeah, I wanted there to be more for Robbie as we watch these movies.
Yeah, if like this was the most he was in it. I feel like it was like combined all those movies
Yeah,
up to here. He was in it the most this time.
yeah. There's so many people in these movies where I'm like, wow, they just probably came in, filmed for a day, and like that was just it. Like they were done with the
Right?
whole movie.
Yeah. I feel like I agree with you. I wanted to bring that up too. There's a number of characters that are just like in it, and like thinking back, you're like, oh, they were such a big part of the series, and they're in it for like 15 minutes total. And
Yeah,
like that's it. Like even like Snape, even McGonagall's like not in it that much. Like it's really mainly the three, and then just other random people. Like
yeah. People just
who's
dropping
in
in.
it fourth much? So it's the three. Maybe maybe I don't even know. Maybe Dumbledore,
Like
Draco,
Luna, maybe Luna,
Luna.
Draco. Like honestly,
Yeah, like most of the other characters, if not all, are sparsely sprinkled in. I don't know, but um, all right. how did you feel? Well, I don't know how did you feel, but like, did all the we've asked you this a few times because we've talked about it a few times, but did all the Horcrux stuff, did all that make sense in the end? Did I don't know, do you have any questions on any of those things, or did it finally makes complete sense for you?
No, it made complete sense for me. I just like that crown. They just found miraculously. Of course, they just found it in that big room, but it
Rumor
is
of
what it
crime,
is.
it's where you get everything.
Yeah. But no,
This thing,
I
the
kind
diadem.
is that what it was?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's the
nice.
Horcrux shirt.
There's seven there, right?
Yeah, been wearing it in your face and you didn't even notice.
In the face.
In the
Um,
face.
what was I gonna say? Yeah, I guess I just don't really get. Maybe I'm just there was just so much stuff thrown at me in these 7 weeks that how did the Horcrux come about? And I know they probably talked about it, but like how did each specific item come about? I understand what happened at the end and how Harry was able to uh fake his own death. Shout out Tupac. But I get that, and I get Harry was a Horcrux, and I really enjoyed that little twist, and I liked all that jazz. But I just don't understand like why that item was important.
So the six that he made were intentional. Like he had to do something. He had to kill somebody and then perform a ritual, and then a piece of his soul would break off into whatever object he wanted. The one with Harry, the killing curse rebounded off of Harry's mom and essentially killed Voldemort, and a piece of his soul came off, and Dumbledore said it latched on to the only living thing that I could find, which was Harry. So that's why he ended up making a Horcrux. But the other six were intentional. They were all intentionally done by him. Like he performed a ritual to do it. Did that answer your question? Did I understand it correctly?
Yeah, I wanted to know how the items came about. Why were they so important? Like those specific items.
Oh,
But that's what you kind of answered. Like those are the ones that he picked, right?
yeah.
They all like mean something to Voldemort to a certain extent. Like, so the little crown, the diadem is uh uh Rowena Ravenclaw. It's like the important piece from hers, and that's she. So there's four founders of it, the same as the four houses: Ravenclaw, Gryffindor, Slytherin, and Hufflepuff. So then there's the cup is Hufflepuff, the locket is Slytherin, then the ring is actually um, was passed down by his family. This one I actually didn't realize initially, but so the ring that Dumbledore was wearing that poisoned his hand is a ring from Voldemort's family, which came from the three brothers. So technically, Harry and Voldemort are sort of related very distantly, but through the three brothers, the Peverell brothers, the ring has the resurrection stone in it. And
So that's
that's
how
where
Dumbledore got it.
Dumbledore gets it to give to Harry because he had the ring.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah. What else is there? It's just all stuff that like means something to Voldemort, whether it's historical or personal.
The snake, obviously.
Yeah, the snake.
So is that why he didn't kill Harry in the crib? Because the
He,
whatchamacallit got bounced back?
yes,
The
yes,
killing curse got bounced back to him,
yeah,
and then he just went somewhere else.
yeah.
Yeah,
That
but he
piece,
didn't
that
die because the Horcruxes kept him from dying that he
so
had
That li
already created.
that little baby that flew out at that was like lying dead when he went up and saw uh Dumbledore in heaven, correct?
that's
Yes.
like
Well,
a piece of his soul.
Yeah,
that was the like a representation, yeah, of the Horcrux that was inside Harry.
that's why
I
he's
don't know
getting
why he was under a
those massive
bench, but
headaches.
what?
Is that why he's getting those massive headaches throughout the entire series?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was pushing up against the wall of his skull.
Yeah.
The walls of Jericho.
So, I mean, you mentioned that you enjoyed how Harry ended up like we'll say coming back and like dealing with the fact that he was a Horcrux. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and why you thought that it was done so well?
That's a tough
Because I'm
question.
assuming someone coming back from the dead can be like super cheesy and like, oh, come on, like obviously, like that's how it happens. I don't know, like why did you think that it was done well?
Because it was in that world, it was very believable, right? He had the invisible cloak all along. I'm correct, right? His dad gave it, or somebody gave it to him, whatever. And then he got the ringy stone thingy. What's that called?
Resurrection Stone.
The resurrection stone. He got it from that little um what's that?
Snitch.
Little
Golden
snitch,
Snitch.
the golden snitch, the Polar Express bell. And then and then what was the third one?
The wand.
The wand.
The wand. So he had all three, right? Even though he dropped the whatchamacallit, he has all three. So he had the resurrection stone. Um, so yeah, I think that was very believable. I didn't find it cheesy. I didn't find it corny. I wasn't like, oh, come on, get out of here. Um, it was almost like I thought the Jon Snow thing was believable in that world. I didn't find that corny, him coming back to life. So I enjoyed that. But um, this might be my favorite, you know, come back to death moment in any movies I've seen with that kind of stuff or TV shows that I saw with that. I just thought it was something that I would have never thought of in my lifetime and have that thought in my brain like there's like all these Horcruxes and Harry's going to be a Horcrux and then how he's going to survive it. And so I thought it was great. I really thoroughly enjoyed that twist and I didn't find, him coming back to life corny at all. I thought it worked well with everything that they kind of set up in the entire story. Like have been setting up. So and I also liked how each time they destroyed a Horcrux, um, Voldemort got weaker and weaker. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, agree.
Did you
Sorry, I didn't find anything like corny or unbelievable, like non-believable in this story. I felt like they did such a good job with everything, setting everything up.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
When he goes to sacrifice himself and he gets hit with the curse, do you think that's it for him? Did you really believe, or did you kind of be like, this can't be how it
Yeah.
ends?
When they were setting it up and Dumbledore, when he was, going back in time and seeing Dumbledore and Snaps talking that he had to die. I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna die. I thought he was gonna die, but then I'm like, he can't die. I'm like, that's Harry Potter. And I was like, there's no way.
That's the god.
Yeah, there's no way that they can let, the goat, just die like that, and being sacrificed. I just knew like there's no way to do that. The little kids would probably start crying when they see the movie, and I figured there's got to be some kind of twist, but I didn't know it was that twist, and I enjoyed that. I just didn't understand what Draco's mom said to him. I kind of was confused with that, but then I was able to watch movies in minutes, and they explained it to me.
Can you explain it? Because that was one of the things that I was like, why did she say Draco? Is he still alive?
She
Did they
she
go
wanted to
ahead?
know if her son was alive.
Oh, I'm an idiot.
That's why she lied
I
to
think so.
Voldemort.
For
Like,
him.
yeah,
Oh, I thought she was like, I thought she was asking Draco if Harry was still alive because she goes, Draco, is he alive? Which, when you say it that way, yes, that does make sense. I'm just a moron.
No, I did the same thing. I'm like, what? What the hell is she talking about? If I didn't go back after and watch that, I would have never known.
I'm so yeah, okay.
I don't think. Yeah, because I don't think Draco was even in the forest at that time.
No, no,
Anyway,
because
yeah.
he only switches sides at the end and he gets the most awkward hug of all time.
Draco. That was unscripted. I read,
Oh,
and
so
it was
perfect.
awkward because Tom Felton was just like,
What's going on?
"What am I doing here?" Again, I've said it a few times. So much unintentional comedy from Voldemort and Ray Fiennes in this one, especially when that when he gets knocked down because he kills the Horcrux in Harry, and I think Bellatrix is like, "My lord," and he's just like, "I don't need your help."
it's
The
it's
best.
unintentional humor, but it like fits. It just
Oh, it's
adds a
so good.
level to it that just I don't know.
Yeah. He was very good in this, obviously. I think one thing that I would have wanted more of that was in the books is like he laughed a few times, but in the books they describe it as just like insane like cackling. That was like scarier than him screaming. So uh, maybe in the show, I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the whole crux and the back to life reveal when you first watched it or read about it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. Like, there's no way he's gonna die. It's just I don't know. Like, as much as like people were just dropping left and right towards the end, which was surprising to me. I was like, there's no way. Like, this is how it ends. It just didn't feel like that type of story. But yeah, I didn't. I thought, like you said, it was set up well within the world and it was believable. So, and plus, I mean, at that point, you've spent 7 books with this character. Like, you're just happy that he kind of survived, I guess.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of it's it's necessary for the story. It makes sense within the story. I don't love like a resurrection as a plot device, to be honest, but I think I've never really thought of it this way before, but like I don't know if he actually dies. I think he just kind of gets
No,
like knocked out and the Horcrux and he's like imagining, Dumbledore at King's Cross. Like so I don't think it's really technically a resurrection, but it is. Like
no, and it's set up that way too because I don't think the Elder, like, we know the Elder Wand can't kill him
right.
because it's not powerful enough in Voldemort's hands, and not only that, I don't think it would kill the person that it belongs to.
Right.
So it like that's like your fail safe after like okay, he only killed the Horcrux. Is that enough for you to like feel like it's believable? To me, the fail safe is that he can't be killed by the Elder Wand anyway. So no matter what happens, it makes sense for me.
Yeah. Um You know what? I read just recently that sort of related to this that I never thought of before. But so Voldemort and Harry both had phoenix feathers in their wands, the twin wands, and they both resurrected like a phoenix. Never thought of
Oh,
that before.
I love that for them.
Love that. Yeah.
I love that for you.
This is my second favorite resurrection behind JC, our Lord and Savior.
Oh, please. I mean, it's so nice we have a holiday every year about it.
Oh, thank goodness.
When's Harry Potter Day?
Every day in this household now.
All right. Is it July 31st? Or do we celebrate May 2nd for victory at Hogwarts Day or something?
It was that today, my second.
May 2nd, yeah. It was the Battle of Hogwarts.
You know what? Thanks for
What?
teaming me up. Robbie, talk to me about the Battle of Hogwarts.
Yeah.
I feel like that was very, very well done. It's flying all over the place. There's giants, there's fireworks, there's exploding bridges. There's big stone knights. How'd you feel about that whole scene?
I thought it was very well done. Not my favorite battle of all time, but it's maybe in the top 10, I would say. I thought the bridge collapsing scene with Nigel Bell Bottoms was awesome. I thought that was cool.
That's the best one.
I thought that was cool. I thought the Giants were awesome. I thought the Stone people were awesome. I thought just the cavalry charge by Baltimore was good. Um, I loved Maggie Smith getting her chops in. That was great to see. I really enjoyed that. I loved how they all just basically made a big halo around it, and then Voldemort got pissed and then blew the whole thing to smithereens. I was upset that people died, but I enjoyed seeing the Giants just go crazy. It reminded me of Game of Thrones, obviously, so that was fun to watch. But yeah, it was very well done. Just very sad to see Hogwarts just get, blown to bits. But hey, it happens to the best of them. But
They'll
good
just sweep
battle.
it up. That'll be fine.
Yeah, they just go like this, Alakazam.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're all sitting amongst the rubble, like, yo, fix it.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, I saw them like they all look at the rubble. I'm like, why don't you just go Shakalazoo and then that's it, and everything just gets fucking back
So that
together.
was I was thinking about that. Like, do you think they just go whippity whap and then everything goes back to the way it was, or do they have to individually be like, okay, we're rebuilding the bridge, we're rebuilding this wall, we're rebuilding that? Like, is it all can it all be done at once, or is it like painstaking and like this is going to take some time?
Um, my answer is based on a scene from Fantastic Beasts, so I don't know if you want me to say it.
Oh, please.
It doesn't matter. But like basically there's a part, and I'm not gonna give really much away, but there's a part where like an entire city street in New York is like all fucked up. And they're just like going around like fixing everything. So that's what makes me think. Now, of course, as the story progresses and new ideas come about, maybe they didn't think of that back then, but
But also maybe they're just chilling the rubble, but like, yeah, we can just fix this later. Like it's really not that big
yeah,
of a
they're
deal.
having tea, they're hanging out. You know,
Yeah, it's only gonna take a few minutes.
yeah,
Do it before we go to
Slughorn's
bed.
talking about losing his wand and his robes, like just hanging.
Um, talk about like some of the deaths we had in this one, Robbie. Like they
Oh,
were
please.
they were big ones. Like I didn't never expected a Weasley twin to go down. There's so much more between Lupin and Tonks in the books that like just makes that so devastating. Like I think they even mentioned it briefly, but that's not they don't even talk about the fact that they had a child, right? Before then.
They allude to it briefly, and then Mad Eye's just like, shut the fuck up, no one
Yeah, because
cares.
he was like they were about to tell them
Yeah.
that I guess that she was pregnant or something, and then it's just that never mentioned again. But Robbie, what do you think about the deaths?
Oh, I love Professor Lupin, and I was devastated to see the both of them dead. Yeah, I didn't know they had a kid. Uh,
Teddy.
yeah, Teddy Ball game. The Weasley, yeah, that was tough to see as well. I didn't think that one of the Weasleys were going to die, but I think Lupin hurt me the most. That upset me the most because I really did enjoy his character that the entire movie and the movies he was in, the scenes he was in, he was great. I enjoyed that. I'm trying to think who else. I mean, Snape's, please forget about it. That was a tough one. That hurt. That hurt the heart after getting the big reveal that he was a double agent. And so I'm trying to think who else died in this.
I
Who
mean, the
else
guy
died in it?
that got murked by Voldemort for no reason. I mean, he was a
Oh well,
huge.
yeah,
Huge
yeah,
loss.
yeah. That was a terrible loss. All those guys that were. I don't even know who those people were in the woods that came about in part one. I don't know what their deal was. I don't know if they were wizards or just like village people. Shout out 47. So I don't really know what it is, but
But there was one more, I guess, kind of big death, and we get kind of our first curse word before
Yeah.
before this person goes. Do you remember who I'm talking about? She got blown to
mm,
smithereens.
Yeah.
oh,
One of the bad guys.
Beatrix,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what'd she say? She cursed?
She said, "Not." What did she say, Brian?
Not my
Exactly.
daughter, you bitch.
No, it's good to see her go. Yeah, every time a villain gets killed, it's good to see them go. And I
Yeah.
like the way Mrs. Weasley went to town, and I enjoyed that.
Molly Pitcher went bananas.
I gave her a fist bump.
Yeah. What kind of spell was that too? Like
I don't know,
it,
but that was badass.
that just like it dehydrated her or something. Take that, Bellatrix, you bitch. Um, if it makes you feel any better, interesting tidbit about Teddy, um, Lupin and Tonks's son, is Harry's his godfather. So
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, that's sweet.
yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was.
I mean,
I don't remember, but I think he like looks after him. After that.
that's good.
Yeah, I think I don't remember, but I think in the movie he's like briefly shown. Like they don't like say anything to him or whatever, but it's like at the epilogue, which I want to ask about, but when they're all getting on the train.
We wish
So
them well.
I
Yeah.
want to dive into something that's, I guess, kind of book only at this point. What did you think of Neville's kind of come up in this movie?
Me?
Yeah.
Bell bottoms.
Yeah, bell bottoms. It was okay. I mean, I wasn't excited for any of it. I was like, this bozo's gonna slay this snake. I wish it was somebody else. But what can you do? And you can't always pitch a perfect game. So I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of bell bottoms. I really didn't care for him. This this scene didn't really excite me. I just thought, really, bell bottoms, and and that was that. So it wasn't anything crazy, or I was so happy to see that he had a nice come up. That character I didn't really care for.
Fair.
So, and Ryan, I'm not sure, like I'm not sure about the online reactions to this, but I assume it's there. Neville in the book is who the prophecy is about. It's not about Harry. It's debated like the
Which
prophecy.
one is it? Is it
Yeah,
Neville
because
or is it Harry?
yeah, they were both born around the same time. Um, because the prophecy is not specific. It just said there's a boy who will be born at the end of July, and neither can live while the other survives.
Right.
So, and I guess maybe that's why they didn't lean into that, because it is kind of um
It's
am
confusing, I guess.
ambiguous, but in the book, like it's talked about a lot towards the end, and it can be why it's so important that Neville is the one that kills Nagini, because that is kind of like the killing blow of Voldemort. But I was just kind of wondering, do you have any thoughts on that, Robbie? Are you kind of glad that maybe they left that out? Do you think that would have added to it at all? I know we're just kind of dumping it on you here after you watch all these movies, and there's not like a real setup to that, but does that give you any thought or make you think about anything? Would you have liked that?
I don't think I would have liked that. I like the way it was left out. Whether that was a good thing to leave out from the books.
Good
I don't
edit.
know. Yeah, I just feel like that. I don't know. There's just something about his face that I didn't like. I don't know. There was something about him that it would have took me out of the movie, especially with the actor that played him if that was revealed what was in the books. So I'm glad they kept that out because it saved the movie for me. I would never watch it again if that happened.
See that, and this is what, like, honestly, like, you see a bunch of book readers online criticize these movies to all hell, and it makes you, especially having these conversations with Robbie, like the books are the books for a reason, and the movies are the movies for a reason.
Yeah.
And I think what this kind of proved to me, this whole um journey we went on, is that the movies did a pretty fucking good job of making this story accessible to everybody, whether they read the books or not. Like if you want to go diving into it and picking out stuff like, oh, that's a shout out to people who read the book, it's there, but you don't need to have. And like I said, it just makes the story accessible for more people. And I think it's just kind of a lesson in general. Like, if you're going to compare a 2 hour movie to a 500-page book, you're always going to be disappointed, because
Yeah.
if you're the type of
Always.
person that likes to read, you want all that extra information. Not everybody's like that. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm glad that I kind of watched these movies this time through the lens of like, oh, this Robbie seeing it for the first time. What is he going to think? They left that out. Is he going to notice it doesn't matter? Because we talked about so much about in Half Blood Prince. There's so much between Harry and the book, and who is the Half Blood Prince and how connected they are. But that's still, even with that not being in there, it still ended up being, you know, probably Robbie's third favorite out of 8 movies, and in contention, probably could, with the top two. So I don't know, just it's just fun to think about.
But just and taking that as an example, like the Half-Blood Prince, you're 100% right. Like you can't a book is always going to have more detail than a film. But like if you take the Half-Blood Prince, like what do you want? Like 45 minutes of Harry like reading that book and thinking to himself and having like
Yeah,
a monologue? Like nobody wants that shit. Book readers want it because they want that extra detail, but like a majority of people don't want that. So I feel like as you were talking, I was just thinking like I feel like there used to be the online sentiment of when media gets, brought from print to film or television, that like people would be like, that's a reference to the book, like, oh, that's cool. Like people like would do things like that. Now it's just like criticize, criticize, criticize. Like
yeah.
it's not, I don't know. And you're right. Like I'm thinking like the show, if they try to like if everyone's like they need to make it like basically like 100% like the book, people who haven't read the books are not going to watch it because it's going to be
Yeah.
too long and boring. And if they don't make it exactly like the book, the people on the internet are going to fucking bitch about it. And then that sort of slowly seeps into the zeitgeist of like everyone's, you know, thoughts, because it's like, well, then the ratings on Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb are lower and like people bitch about it and all this stuff. So it's like it's hard to adapt media.
I mean, because think about it too, like if you thought the first couple movies there was a lot of downtime before things got going,
Yeah.
like you're in for quite the treat. Like when these movies come out, if they're accurate, because there's a lot of, hey, we're just in class and just like talking about
Learning
stuff.
about shit.
Yeah,
Transfiguration, awesome. Like,
yeah. But I mean, like you said too, Ryan, it's I don't know, man. I'm so done with like taking into account other people's opinions that I don't know, I don't respect, because on one hand, you're going to say, why do they need to do the movies? Or why do they need to do a series when the movies are good?
yeah,
And on the other hand, you're going to trash the movies every chance you get. So it's like, what do you really want? Like, just read the books again if you want. Do
yeah.
the audiobooks if you want something different.
Shut up. How about that?
That's good. Yeah.
Go for a walk.
There's there's just no pleasing some people, I think. And I don't know. We'll see. I have my issues with the movies and things from the books I wish were in it, but like I realize that they can't have everything in it. Um, Having said that, I do want to talk about the final duel or showdown in the book versus the movie. Unless Robbie, you have anything about what we were just talking about. I feel like we talked a lot.
I don't have anything to discuss about that. No, no notes.
No nuts. No nuts. I just wanted to, again, I'm not complaining. A lot of people on the internet bitch about the final duel as whatever, not being great or something. I like it. It's fine. Like Voldemort's death is a little weird that he like just evaporates. Um, but I will say that definitely the book was a lot better. It was more of a duel of wits because they were going at each other, like having not a conversation, but like an argument, I guess, for lack of a better way to describe it. And then they had their duel, and it was all the people were around them and stuff like that. So it was definitely better and more impactful in the books. Um, but I don't know if that would have people movie only people would have been like, that was fucking boring. All they did was talk, and then all of a sudden he's dead. Like, but in the books, it's fantastic.
I don't know what 2 + 2 equals.
So I just wanted to bring that up. Oh, uh, I do want to also just bring up quickly. Uh, I love McGonagall and Snape dueling. I love it.
Yeah. That's the part.
Fantastic.
That's the part where I was like, "Oh boy, I got to shut this down now because like I'm gonna get in too deep." Like when Harry steps out and is like, "Bro, I'm here. What are you gonna do?"
How dare you?
Yeah,
How dare you
right from
stand when he stood?
that's what I mean. Like I said, I mean it's you go from the hunting of the Horcrux right in the beginning to that, and it's like we're just going from there. So
Just going. Um, did you have any other questions, Benny?
what did you think? I mean, I guess we're getting kind of down to the end of it here, but like, what were your final thoughts on McGonagall as a character? I feel like we really didn't talk about her too much because she's not in the movies, I guess, as much as we would like. But what were kind of your final thoughts on her as a character?
Well, that's the thing that kind of I don't really th think I have any thoughts of her as a character or that I liked her. I just think that again, like this is another person that wasn't in there for that long. And if she was, she only had a couple scenes that weren't super duper noteworthy. I feel like this was the only scene where you got to see her actual powers and what she can do. Um, which kind of left left me wanting some more of her backstory and what she did. But I thought it was really neat and cool that she, stepped up and was able to go toe to toe with Snaps. So I thought that was really great. But again, it's just a lot of these characters that just aren't in the movie a lot that are also super important to the story and have all different types of powers that I would have liked to see, but I understand. But it was nice to see her get like a one final little send off in this movie, which is good. And she was fantastic in it. Please, Maggie Smith, rest in peace.
Dame
Yeah.
Maggie Smith, my fave.
Ryan, what did you is do you remember like is there a lot of backstory for her in the books? She's just in it a lot, but I don't remember there
There's
being
not a
like a
ton of like backstory. There's a little more, but yeah, I mean, you get more interaction with her. I mean, I'm trying to think like in all the movies, I think there's only one scene of her teaching in all 8 movies.
in the
When
first
in
movie.
the first one, when they're late, I think. Um, so yeah, there's definitely more. Um, but Robbie, you're so right. Like there, I wasn't thinking about this before, but it's like her, Snape, Dumbledore, Hagrid to an extent, and like a couple other characters. They're not in it that much, but they're integral to the story and to Harry and the trio's development and like helping them along. It's so like interesting. It's almost existential where it's like, these are the people that help you grow and like figure things out and whatever. And it's kind of a bit like actual teachers. Like you're with them for maybe a year or two, and they may have an impact on you, they may not.
I mean, in a way, like it's almost noteworthy of like how much they're able to get in with those characters,
Yeah,
even though you wish that they were there more. Like they do, a pretty good job of like getting what they need to get in. It's not just like, oh, he pops in, he pops out, and like, okay, why was he even
yeah,
there? Like you just wasted, you know, Maggie Smith for no reason.
right.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, like with Snape, the fact that his death and his betrayal of Voldemort or, his double agent status is so impactful, but like total screen time, I'd be curious to look that up. Like out of the 18 hours, how long is Snape actually in it? Probably not that long. Um,
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't like an hour and a half each movie. It was
no.
like 2.5 hours, 2:45, like lengthwise. It was like, I don't know. Maybe you could have fit more in, but again, like you said, Maggie Smith wasn't in it a lot. So like, how can I be super duper emotionally invested in her compared to how I was emotionally invested to the three main characters in this movie?
All right.
So,
I was
did
gonna
you
say,
find it up? Find it?
yeah. So this is Alan Rickman as Snape. Sorcerer's Stone, 4 minutes. Chamber of Secrets, 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
Wow.
Prisoner of Azkaban, 5 minutes and 45 seconds. And he was pretty integral at the end.
Yeah.
Goblet of Fire, 4 minutes, 45 seconds. Order of the Phoenix, 4 minutes. Half-Blood Prince, the movie essentially named after him, 9 minutes and 15 seconds. Deathly Hallows, Part 1, 1 minute, 15 seconds, which is essentially just the Unbreakable Curse scene.
Yeah.
And then
And
Part 2, 9 minutes and 45 seconds.
yeah, it's a total of like 43 minutes out of 18 hours.
That's pretty crazy.
It's wild.
So
That's the only thing I had. So that's the only like critiques I would have. And I get it, I understand it, but I can't be emotionally invested with people that I've spent so little time with on the screen. Maggie Smith, I didn't spend any time with, a little bit, but then now, she's ready to rock and roll, and I'm like, all right, I'm here for it, but I wish I saw a little more.
Yeah.
So
McGonagall, 28 minutes.
that's nuts. That's nuts.
Yeah.
So
Go
to
ahead.
that
Harry Potter, 17 hours.
539 minutes. Ron Weasley, 211. Hermione, 205. Dumbledore, 77. Hagrid, 45. Snape, 43. We just did that. Voldemort, 37. 37. Uh, Draco, 31. Ginny, 30. McGonagall, 28. That's the top 10. That's crazy.
So in this kind of vein, I mean, I guess kind of the last question that I have before I guess we do the epilogue. Robbie, what did you think about Aberforth Dumbledore, uh, Albus's brother, that we just see for the first time? He kind of talks to Harry and Ron and Hermione, and then kind of disappears until he pops up in the battle towards the end.
Well, I thought that was, I wouldn't say it's a twist, but I thought that was a nice little addition to the movie. I knew right away, I'm like, I know this guy, I know who this guy is, and the
Yeah,
beard,
who
and
did you know?
yeah, it was Syrian Hands, is that his name? I don't know how to say his name, but from Game of Thrones, and wasn't he in
Him
There Will
beyond
Be
the wall.
Blood? Was he in There Will Be Blood?
I don't know.
I think he might have
Maybe.
been. But I think I forgot your question, Benny.
Just what your thoughts on Aberforth?
I liked it, but again, that was quick and easy. It was nice to see. Maybe I forgot or it was said, but I didn't know that they had a sister. That was cool. I like that. I just love those little paintings that moved the entire, movie. I thought that was so cool. But it was nice to see how that came full circle as well with the mirror, the little glass mirror, and he was looking out from the entire time. I enjoyed that, and then he came around and helped them out during the battle scene. So that was a nice touch. I enjoyed that too, even though it was quick.
He was in There Will Be Blood, Robbie. Clock.
Blood.
Blood. Did you notice uh Helena Ravenclaw, where she's from?
I know she's from Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah. Margaret Schroeder.
Yeah, she was in there. I was saying like they get some big names here
Yeah.
that were in for like a quick second or two.
Yeah.
I just looked up who Aberforth was, and I did not know that that was the guy.
Mance Rayder.
Wow.
I could
Did you
just
know
see it in his from his cheekbones to his eyes. I'm like, I know this guy.
clocked him? And he's like heavily makeup to
Yeah.
look more like Dumbledore. That's good.
Well, what'd you guys think about him? Flippy
I
Tippy
liked him.
Do.
Again, another thing that I wish that there was a little bit more of, but
Yeah, like the whole story with their sister, um, and like why Aberforth I don't know if I'd say hated, but like was
resents.
mad at Albus for so many years. Like I wish they had a little more backstory on that. But again, how much backstory can you have with everything?
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if they explore those themes in the show, or
You'd
maybe not.
think. I mean, that's supposedly what they're going for, is that they're really going to dive into everything.
I don't know if it's gonna work. Like I think I
It's gonna work. It's gonna work for the nerds,
right,
but is
but
it gonna work for everybody?
right, and that's what like, we're in that realm. We're looking at Reddit and like all this other shit. Like, I wonder how many people actually did enjoy the end of Game of Thrones, or like like things like that, where it's like the internet pans it, but like the general populace is like, yeah, it was good. Like, what are you talking about?
I I don't think Game of Thrones there was a lot of people.
I think there's more than you would think.
Well, if you liked the ending of Game of Thrones, please leave a comment.
Um, should we talk epilogue quick?
Yeah.
I just,
Whatever.
yeah, whatever. Did you like it?
Not really. I didn't really care that much for it. I was like, cool, they're grown. Just end the movie.
Yeah, I
Jesus.
mean that I think that's something that you like in the book, but you didn't necessarily need it in.
I was like 15 years old, they pretend they have children. Like, get up. I don't care. I do not care if they live. Of course, I know they live happily ever after. Just end the films. I've seen enough.
I mean, it is a whole scene just to basically say that he named his child Albus Severus. That's it. I mean, that's all you really got from it.
Just give me like
The
the
title
fonts.
card.
Yeah.
Harry and Ginny get married and have three children.
And he
Ron
names
and
one.
Hermione.
Yeah.
Like we get in on that. So we get an answer to all of our love triangles, squares, rhombuses, trapezes.
What like I want
Satisfied, Robbie?
with the love triangle?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I think I was right. Even though I switched, I went back.
Yeah.
Snip snap.
Yeah. So I wonder. Some of my predictions were spot on. I mean, they're easy, obviously, but they were kind of spot on. So
It's true. One thing about the epilogue in those kids is Ginny had zero say in their children's name.
No, not at all.
Zero. There's three kids, and it's wait, I made note of it because I wanted to complain about it. Uh James Sirius, Lily Luna is the girl, and Albus Severus. So she got nothing.
Not poor George.
I think Fred's kid or Bill's kid is George.
Still throw a
But
middle name
still,
out there, would you?
George too. George Foreman had like 12 Georges.
I
of
know.
course,
You can go Albus George.
Yeah.
That'd be
Or what
selfish
about
singing.
prick.
Arthur? Poor Arthur.
Did he die?
No, no, no. He was passed over.
Oh, true. Yeah,
Yeah.
he had a nice little
Yeah.
moment for 3 seconds.
Yeah. Molly saved you from Bellatrix. You can't, give
Took
her,
you in pretty much as her own son.
yeah, Lily Molly or something. Oh, that stinks. Molly Luna.
Luna Molly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Luna Dobby.
Yeah, how about Dobby? You can't put Dobby. You seem the most broken up about his death over everyone else.
Yeah,
Dobby Hedwig, Potter.
who's carving into that stone on his headstone? Freemasons? Were
Again,
they Masons?
Magic.
probably magic. Yeah, exactly. Another thing we have no explanation for.
Yeah. Stupid. Um, I don't know.
This is it. I mean,
I'm sad.
I know, Robbie. I mean, I know you kind of gave your last thoughts and impressions of the series, but like anything you want to end it on? I know you said that you're glad you watched it and all that stuff, but I don't know. Any final thoughts as we wrap things up here?
I can't believe I didn't spoil myself all these years later.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, I'm happy that I didn't spoil myself. I'm happy that I enjoyed them. I went in with an I semi-open mind. I thought they were corny. Thought they weren't in, my taste. I thought they were, it was gonna be dumb, especially the first one. I was like, oh, this is just ridiculous because they're riding on brooms all day. Um, but no, as it got going, I mean, Azkaban was I think the third movie, right? I
Yeah.
enjoyed that as one of my favorites. And then Half Blood, and then the last two. Uh, yeah, I I just enjoyed them all. Wow, I thought there was a fantastic series, and one of the only series, movies, TV shows that really, really end the landed the plane. So I'm happy about that. And the Horcrux, whatever, I can't even speak about that word, but all that stuff was fun to me and believable in that specific world. If it was just like somebody on the streets of, in Brooklyn, and then having Horcruxes and he's just a regular world, it would be stupid. But this was super believable, and I enjoyed that.
I think part of the reason you feel that way too is even if maybe you didn't necessarily like I know I mentioned the diary to you after the Horcrux reveal, and you're like, oh, I kind of didn't even think about that. A lot of the stuff was the foundation for the later elements were laid earlier on in the movies. Like you can kind of point back and be like, they mentioned that, or there's that theme that ended up. So I think that kind of has a lot to do with it. Like the story seems like it was planned pretty much, in totality before she even started writing them, because there was a lot of stuff laid early on that ended up becoming important or more significant when you go back and look at it.
It was very well done.
It's a shame she's a piece of shit.
I know it really is.
Yeah, I'm surprised they greenlit that on HBO.
I'm not.
Money, yeah, I was gonna say money triumphs all
Yeah.
That
overall.
is true. That is true. I forgot.
Yeah. Uh,
It's I've said this a few times on things we watch, but inspired to go back and read again.
I read a little bit today of the end because I wanted to remind myself about the battle. And I was like, ooh, I should
Good
read these
stuff, man.
again.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, but
It's been a while since I actually read. And I think I've only really read the last book once.
hmm, that's
So
enough time. When the fuck am I gonna read a book?
before bed,
Nah,
that's when I read.
I should, but nah.
It sucks because it puts me to sleep. Like I start getting into it and then I'm like phones hit me in the face. Like so it kind of kills two birds with one stone. I'm getting my reading in and I'm also putting myself to sleep because it's impossible for me to fall asleep.
Hmm. Well, anything else about Deathly Hallows Part 2 or the series as a whole?
Tune in next week watching Barbed Wire.
With Pamela Anderson?
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, maybe we should.
Why not?
I've never seen it.
I never
Robbie,
seen it.
do you have any thoughts on what we should watch next? Because I mean, it feels like the ball's going to be in your court for a little bit.
Yeah.
Anything for the people to look forward to?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I can't think on the spot right now. I gotta do some research. We have a couple of days now to do some research, but it might be a funny choices. It might be a Paul Newman week, you know.
Oh, you've been saying that for a long time.
Yeah, it might be. Um, yeah, or it might be just a gritty drama. Maybe Donnie Brasco. I've never seen that. Maybe
I like what
Goodfellas
I'm
again.
hearing.
Yeah,
I'm
Fantastic.
interested.
Tom Cruise week. Minority Report.
Mm.
Mission Pass.
Mission Impossible. I don't know what else.
Whatever you
Pulp
want.
Fiction week. Yeah, yeah. I gotta see, but I got
Mm.
some. Not one I'm looking forward to.
Love it. Well, thanks for joining us on this ride again. If you missed any of the other episodes, please, yeah, check them out. Um, Send us some messages. Give us some ideas, maybe on what we should watch next. Um, Love you. Robbie, tell him good night.
Good night, Harry Potter. I can finally go back to stand-up 69s now.
My wife said no.
Good night,
can't
Nigel
believe it.
Long
I said,
Jeans.
no. Let the boy watch. Let the boy watch. He needs to learn the way I learned from my father. The way he learned from his father. Let